And we welcome you to the city of Las Vegas on a spring-like night in the dead of winter. We are at the Hilton Hotel. Tony Tubbs, who's a guy who really his biggest problem has been staying away from the dinner table. I think he doesn't miss any meals. He takes on a guy by the name of Leon Taylor. Leon Taylor's biggest moment came in a victory over Al Cole, who you've seen many times here on Top Rank Boxing. But the question is, what can he do against a much bigger opponent?
Well, he's got a much bigger opponent. He's got a big task on his hands tonight. Tony Tubbs, 48 pounds heavier than Leon Taylor.
Yeah, Tony Tubbs is a big boy. That's been both a curse and a good thing about his career. He is an excellent boxer. There's no question about that. But how much dedication he puts into the gym has been his problem. Let's get to the center of the ring and Michael Buffett.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Las Vegas Hilton, where tonight Mr. Bob Arum and Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undefeated king of beer, Budweiser, presents professional boxing for your entertainment. All these bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get things started with a 10-round bout. This is in the heavyweight division. The referee for this contest is Jay Nady. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the red trunks and weighs in at an even 195 pounds. He's from Brooklyn in New York City. His professional record, 14-4 with 6 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, Leon the Cat Taylor. And his opponent fighting across the ring out of the blue corner, wearing the black and white pinstripe trunks and weighing in at 243 pounds, from Los Angeles, California. His professional record, 31 victories with 19 KOs, only 3 defeats. Introducing the former heavyweight champion of the world, TNT Tony Tubbs.
Keep your punches up. Keep your heads back. Good luck. 10 rounds. Let's go to work.
So here is a look at the bedecked Tony Tubbs. And Tony Tubbs looking pretty much like Tony Tubbs.
Bedecked is a nice way to put it, Barry.
Leon Taylor. And Leon Taylor, actually, since the last time I saw him against Al Cole, looks like he has bulked up a little bit.
He has, but he's still basically a cruiserweight. 195 pounds, just barely over the limit.
The knockout ratio, as you can see, Tubbs 56%, a little bit misleading. Tubbs not a guy who is quick to get you out of there.
Not at all. You know, if anything, he could accumulate some punches on Taylor and knock him out. But you take a look at Taylor's record, he's not a big puncher either. I would bet the go in this one.
I think you're right.
If I was a betting man.
And you are. And we mentioned that Leon Taylor beat Al Cole. Al Cole also beat Leon Taylor in Taylor's last fight.
And actually, I'm surprised to see Leon Taylor putting this much pressure on Tubbs early, because you would think that the size difference would make him a little bit cautious.
Taylor is another one of those guys who could be about as good as he chooses to be. And as you said, probably better suited as a cruiserweight.
Yeah, see, his problem really is he doesn't have the build to carry much more. I couldn't see him putting more than 10 more pounds on that frame. So he's never going to be a heavyweight to contend with the really big guys.
So I think I said that about Michael Moore, too.
Right. Who is now walking around at about 240 pounds.
Right. Taylor does not seem awed by Tubbs, I'll say that. Good body work.
I'm sure he took notice of that low blow by Tubbs. You know, Tubbs is really a classic case of what happened to the heavyweights in the mid-'80s, Barry. This is a guy that came in and won his title at 227 pounds and looked pretty good doing it. He beat Greg Page in Buffalo back in 1985. He comes back 6 months later and he weighs 245 pounds, looks terrible, sluggish, and gives the belt away to Tim Witherspoon.
Yeah, he was a guy who came out of the amateur ranks, highly thought of. And even as a professional early in his career.
Well, he really does have all the talent. He may still have it, although he's 33 years old now, and obviously he's not going to be getting any better at this point. But he can still give a young fighter a tough night, and if anybody knows that, it's Riddick Bowe.
And he's been a little bit, if you will, of a lazy fighter, too. There hasn't been 1 year since he's been a professional, and that's been since 1984. He's had more than 4 fights.
That's really not a strenuous work year. I'm sorry.
Good left hook there by Tubbs. Tubbs simply is bigger and stronger, and that's maybe the bottom line of this.
You know, he's really not the kind of fighter to use that weight, though. You know, it's not his style to get in there and mix it up and lean on his opponent, which may give Leon Taylor a little better shot in the fight.
Coming down to 10 seconds remaining in the first round. And Taylor has been content to stay in there and try to fight with Tubbs.
And completely ignoring the keys to victory, here's Leon Taylor fighting on the inside and rocking Tubbs with an uppercut.
He may just feel that Tubbs can't hurt him. I mean, Tubbs is, as we said, is not a guy who's going to whack you out. He's certainly not going to whack you out with one punch, but...
So you don't think that was a deliberate disregard of our advice?
In the first round, each man there 19 times. Pretty close round. Taylor a little bit busier.
Well, you know, this so far has been a typical Tubbs fight. Not too many punches thrown. Actually, he usually lands a higher percentage because he's a pretty precise puncher. But I don't think we're going to see any Hagler-Hearns type exchanges.
Probably not. Tubbs' biggest weapon is the jab, and he hasn't even really used that much in this fight so far.
He does throw a pretty good left hook, but he just doesn't let it go very often. I'm kind of surprised that Leon Taylor's not using his jab more because Tony Tubbs has a tendency to drop that left hand down around his waist.
And as you see right there. And now Taylor starts to use the jab a little bit. Looks like it's there for him anytime he wants it.
Oh, it certainly is. That's one thing that Tubbs has always been hit with. But another thing that Tubbs likes to do is counterpunch. So he could very well just be waiting for Taylor to drop that jab in and then throw a right hand over the top.
Double left hand by Taylor. Actually, just Tubbs take a step back. And a right hand.
Well, this is what we said earlier, that Tubbs has to stay busy. Right now, Leon Taylor is much the busier fighter.
The only man, of course, to knock Tony Tubbs off his feet was Mike Tyson.
That was quite a punch, too. It was a left hook, and not only did it knock Tubbs out, but it split his eyebrow open. Left quite a pool of blood in that ring.
That was another fight. I didn't see that fight, but people tell me who were there, and you're among them, that Tubbs really wasn't ready to fight.
No, in fact, you know, here's a classic Tony Tubbs story. If he had been able to come in at 235 pounds or less, he would have gotten a $50,000 bonus. So what did he do? He came in at 238. You know, 3 pounds difference. What does that mean? You skip a meal? So, you know, that's basically what Tubbs has been about most of his career.
And he's getting down, as you said, at 33 years old, he's getting down to last hurrah time. But the way the heavyweight division is these days, nothing would surprise me.
No, anything is wide open right now, I would say. So actually, Tubbs is a youngster compared to some of the guys we've been seeing lately.
Well, and that's the thing, too, because he does have a little bit of marquee value. Even if he would lose this fight, he's going to get fights. Everybody's going to want to, at the very least, beat Tony Tubbs. End of round 2. Not a bad round for Taylor.
And here's a real veteran move, Barry. The old left elbow to the jaw, followed by the overhand right.
Only experience can teach you that. Let's belabor a point that we started to speak of at the end of the second round. I was mentioning that Tony Tubbs likely will get a lot of fights because people are going to want to have him on their resume, if you will. But you don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, you know, it's a good scalp to have on your belt, but the thing is, he makes you look bad all the time. And Riddick Bowe knows that. That's why Tubbs hasn't gotten a rematch. Good left hook.
My only hope is he falls the other way.
Those are good sturdy ropes, I trust.
He hurt Tubbs with that. There's no question about it.
The thing is, he's a difficult fighter to look good against. Even if you beat him, you know, he can make you look silly in there. And sometimes he can make the fight close enough that people watching it will think that you lost, which is what happened with Bowe.
Now, what Tubbs doesn't want to do with Taylor, and I can say this having seen Taylor beat Alcoa, you don't want to give him the idea that he can beat you.
Right. The longer this goes, the more confidence Leon Taylor is going to get. Already he's starting to throw in some unorthodox moves in there. You see him turn halfway around and then come back with a right hand. He's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in there with Tony. Now, one thing about Tony Tubbs, this is, whoa!
He went down from a right hand.
5.
Appears to be okay. It was one of those shots that just stunned him.
You okay?
Oh, you can see the look of disgust on Taylor's face when he hit the canvas.
Box.
And a left hand, and that hurt Taylor.
Well, let's see now. This is what Tony Tubbs is not supposed to have, is the killer instinct or the knockout punch. I mean, you got to go back a long way to find an early KO by Tony Tubbs.
Break, stop. Stop punching.
Ladislav Mahangos in 3 rounds, but you and I have both seen Ladislav Mahangos.
That's generally the extent of his night's work.
That's right. It's a long night for Ladislav.
Let go of me, Tony. Let go of me. Back it up. Let go. Let go, Tony.
I think Taylor's all right. Although he may now be starting to feel the effects of fighting a man who's like, 50% larger than he is.
Yeah, starting to back up a little bit more, throw punches off his heels.
Let go, Tony.
You wouldn't think Tony Tubbs would be a good ballroom dancer, would you?
Body shot by Tubbs again, and that hurt Taylor. Good round for Tony Tubbs.
It was, and Taylor looks like he's getting tired now. I think the weight advantage is wearing him down.
Listen, you just can't be backing up all the time with this guy, Liam. When you hit him with the left hook. Yes, you hurt him, yeah, but you back up on the left, get back on the left. Don't back up. Go side to side. Come on now, come on. Now get yourself together now and get back in there again.
Let's take another look at the knockdown here. It was a very short right hand, and then you could just see that the legs went out from under Leon Taylor. I don't think he was hurt very badly, but he didn't expect the punch to hit him from that angle. Take another look at it. Comes right over the top of his shoulder.
You wouldn't think that Tubbs could get that much leverage on that punch from that angle.
He turns it over very, very nicely.
Punch it.
And we're told by the scientists from CompuBox that 33 of Tubbs' 34 punches were power shots in round 3.
Really contrary to what Tony Tubbs is all about. You might have heard Leon Taylor say to Emil Griffith, as you look at the numbers in the 3rd round, that he hurt him with the left hand, and he did, in fact. That's through 3 rounds, I should say.
Well, that's a good sign for Leon Taylor that he's still able to point to that, which happened early in the 3rd round, and not dwell on what happened later in the 3rd round.
I actually think that body shot toward the end of the round might have hurt him more than the punch that knocked him down.
Well, I've given Tubbs 2 out of the 3 rounds, and it was clear that he won the 3rd round. Now you see that Tubbs is starting to rough Leon Taylor up.
Yeah, I think what happened is he actually lifted him off the ground and butted him. And he's woozy.
Can't tell. He might even be cut behind that glove.
Could be.
I punched with my finger.
Might have been
breaking
thumb.
apart, got in the face.
Ah,
Okay?
there's the story. The referee.
Jay Nady takes the blame. Mea culpa.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. Back in.
All is well.
Maybe Jay should be wearing thumbless rubber gloves.
Let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go.
See, Tubbs now wants to fight on the inside where he can really use that weight advantage.
And that does really wear a fighter out, too. Good left hand there by Tubbs.
And that shows experience there on the break. I think Leon Taylor expected Tony to step straight back, and he didn't. He let 2 punches go on the way out.
And he hit him with another low blow, too. But Taylor right now is holding on.
Each other. Gas a warning. Stop holding. You stop holding.
Warning to both fighters to stop holding. And I don't know what he went down from. That's either cumulative effect
4,
or I've had enough of this.
6, 7, 8. You okay? Come to me.
I honestly
Tubbs
did not.
is just pushing him down with the weight.
Yeah, I did not see a punch at all that put him down. There was another low blow by Tubbs, too.
This is turning into an ugly affair. And one thing that is underrated about Tubbs is his chin. He has an excellent chin. We mentioned it before. He's only been knocked down by Mike Tyson. I don't think Leon Taylor has got enough punch to knock him down or hurt him or turn the tide of this fight.
Yeah, especially now it really is going the way of Tony Tubbs. As you said, it's getting uglier. And again, holding on. That was Taylor that was holding on.
And that was just about the identical right hand that Tubbs knocked Taylor down with in round 3.
Taylor just doesn't look like he has anything left.
Well, I think he just realizes he's in with too big a man, and there's really nothing he can do about it because he's not going to knock Tony Tubbs out.
Keep him up. Let go, Tony.
And that just wasn't very pretty.
No, it was not. You know, a lot of holding in there by Leon Taylor. He was warned earlier in the round, and Jay Nady didn't say a word to him there in the last 30 seconds.
You don't want to fight him alone, you can fight both of us.
Let's get some tape on that glove. It's coming loose there, too.
Hold on. I got it. Please.
Right glove on it, bro.
Let me see this glove. There's the glove.
Here's what happened when the referee stepped in.
Oh, that's precision poking.
Really? Must be a bowler, huh?
And here's the knockdown or the push down or whatever it was. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, he really just curled that punch around his neck and then pushed Taylor right to the canvas.
So we start the 5th round. Emil Griffith not at all happy with Leon Taylor. He said, if you don't want to fight this guy, just let me know.
And Tubbs has completely gotten away from his jab. He realizes there's no need to jab with Leon Taylor in there. He only threw 3 jabs in round 4.
Very uncharacteristic. And here are the total numbers landed in round 4, and that's not very pretty either.
And you can see we started in the first round. They were dead even in punches landed, and Tubbs is gradually taking an overwhelming lead in the fight. And that's directly related to the size difference.
And your card has Tubbs comfortably in front. I don't see that you can see it any other way.
No, and I gave him a 10-8 round in round 4 for the push down or knockdown or whatever that was. This is a very unusual Tony Tubbs fight.
It's hard to imagine what a fight like this really proves so far as Tony Tubbs is concerned.
Well, you know, he's had a long layoff. That Bow fight was last April 20th, so it's, you know, a 10-month layoff. I guess he wanted to come back not too tough, but really, these are men fighting in 2 different weight classes.
Long right hand.
Wow, and if Tubbs is 3 inches closer to Taylor, I think we're doing a post-fight interview.
Yeah, Taylor still doesn't have much legs left. I really don't believe it'll take much for Taylor to go here.
Boy, the crowd of this place
is non-existent.
No, I've seen Tubbs do this before with a large crowd of people.
Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah, he might have a career like as a hypnotist afterward. See, now Tony Tubbs can go 2 ways with this. Either he can just press the attack and get Leon Taylor out of this, or we might see another 5 rounds of exactly what we're seeing right now.
He could dance 5 rounds easy.
If he danced, I think it would be an improvement.
Say, I was stretching it a bit, wasn't I?
And unfortunately, the burden really is on Leon Taylor to make Tubbs fight. Because Tubbs now has this thing completely under control. He can do whatever he wants. If Taylor maybe gets a little bit busier, he can bring Tubbs out of the shell.
wound up with a low
Keep the
blow.
punches up. You're right in the balls. Keep them up. Box.
Well, it's cable television. Tubbs opening up, puts Taylor down again. And Taylor may stay down this time.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You okay?
He is up. That's the end of the round. And the question is, how far do you go with
I
this?
think he gave some serious thought about between 9 and 10 about whether he ought to get up.
Give me the water.
So all the talking in the world is probably not going to help this man, Leon Taylor, who will suffer through another 10-8 round. We'll be back.
The 6th round, and Tony Tubbs basically can do whatever he wants here.
I just hope he wants to go home early.
Yes. And you can see the numbers are as ugly as the fight.
Right, but again, there's Tubbs way ahead of the fight against an opponent who's much smaller and does not punch well, and he only threw 31 punches.
Our main event, Bobby Quarry and Tommy Morrison. Morrison making his first fight after a devastating loss at the hands of Ray Mercer.
Well, this has been the rap on Tony Tubbs all along. I mean, he can be throwing twice as many punches as he's thrown.
Yeah, and his punches used to be very crisp, and he did have a very good jab, and even had fairly good foot speed. Hits him with a left hand again. That gets Taylor going backwards. The rap on Tubbs really was that he did only what was absolutely necessary.
Right, which I think is exactly what he's doing here.
Let go. Yeah, we're a break.
You got to give Leon Taylor some credit here. This man has absolutely no clue of how to win the fight, but he's still in there trying. Occasionally he nails Tubbs with that left hook.
Covers up again, starts going backwards. He may be in there, though, only because there's not a door.
Stop. I'm here. Keep your punches in front.
You know, one thing that shows us about Tony Tubbs right there, he can punch fairly hard when he wants to, when he rouses himself. He really puts something on that left hook to the body. Just that he rarely does it.
And it's really too bad. And certainly he must know that Taylor's in trouble again. That was an uppercut right to the solar plexus.
3.
That should be it.
4. Go that corner over there. 5.
A long count.
7. 8. 9.
They got up again.
All right.
Jay Nady giving no free rides tonight.
And Tubbs right back to the body.
This is really pointless.
Actually,
Leon Taylor's not going to win the fight.
no, it would be in his best interest just to stay down.
Don't hold on to him.
Well, obviously he's got too much pride to do that, but, you know, it's not outside the realm of a referee's duties to stop a fight when a guy is overmatched.
Taylor in trouble again as we come to the end of the 6th round. He could conceivably get through this one, and down he goes again.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's go. Come on,
They
guys.
don't have a handicap system in
No,
boxing, do they?
if they did, they would probably tie Tubbs' hands to the ropes.
We put this up as a public service.
We had a series of 10-8 rounds, and, you know, we really could have made the last one a 10-7 round.
And again, Tony Tubbs, high percentage rate. Got to say that about Tubbs.
This was really a busy round for Tony Tubbs.
49 punches, that's right.
That's an overtime round.
There's a right hand, and Taylor saying, "Fine."
Tubbs is really just playing with Leon Taylor now. Do you think somebody in the corner might flip a towel in or something?
Something.
Are they that mad at him in the corner?
That's right. You go on. Actually, they might have left. This is one of the. Don't you ever wish that you could just turn off these monitors?
It's still happening right there, though. I have to turn my chair the other way. It's not funny. Right now, Leon Taylor is among the loneliest people in the United States. I would think.
That's a low blow. Keep it up. That's another warning.
Well, it's a pretty sorry exhibition, to tell you the truth.
And really, some of the burden has to go on Tubbs. I mean, he's got a man in there who he can take out if he wants to, and he's not doing it. He's going to tell us later that he wanted to get rounds in. That is my prediction for the night.
We're on break. I'm right here. Break. Stop. Stop.
Taylor with a low blow.
Taking away his most effective weapon right now. And what can the guy do?
Taylor fighting back a little bit here.
But whenever Tubbs wants to sink that mid in, and there he goes again.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You okay? Turn in.
Well, I would think it's almost time for Jay Nady to say enough.
And here we reach knockdown number 6 in this fight by Tony Tubbs. Right hand to the body. Down goes Leon Taylor. And we'll see it from another angle. This was a good punch. There's really no reason. There was no reason for this fight to continue after that knockdown.
Absolutely not. And you could almost see Taylor grimace in his corner. And I don't think he wants to be here any more than we want to be here talking about it.
Well, I guess there's something to be said for a fighter who keeps getting off the stool, and here he is, throwing punches here in round 8 in a fight that he was hopelessly behind. But I would just think that somebody who cares about this man would say, that's enough, call it a night, Leon.
We're watching Tony Tubbs and Leon Taylor. Still to come, our main event, Tommy Morrison and Bobby Quarry. This fight has been flat ugly. Tubbs has had Taylor down 6 times. Taylor takes about 4 steps back. Taylor is just completely overmatched.
You know, if I didn't know Tubbs so well and have not seen so many of his fights, I would be tempted to think that he was punishing Leon Taylor for something. Deliberately not knocking him out.
Another body shot, down he goes again. And finally, Taylor's corner comes in and says, that's it, that's enough.
Right, okay, no more. Stop, fight over.
That might have been about 4 knockdowns too many.
7 knockdowns is their limit over there.
Yeah.
Well, I think he definitely took an unnecessary beating.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This just was ugly. And there's absolutely nothing to prove for Tony Tubbs in this fight, with the possible exception of ring rust.
Okay, we finished that off in the first round.
That's true.
And here's what Tubbs was really hurting Leon Taylor with those body shots. You see right there, Taylor is just one discouraged and pained fighter. And here's the end of the fight. Nice right to the hip by Taylor, and then another right hand to the body by Tubbs. Knockdown number 7. Here it is from another angle. That right hand from Tubbs. 7 knockdowns in the fight. That's probably more than Tony Tubbs had scored in his entire career before tonight.
Truly remarkable. Let's get the official word here from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jay Nady stops this bout at 1 minute and 7 seconds of the 8th round. The winner by TKO victory, his 32nd victory as a pro, 20 KOs, former world heavyweight champion, TNT Tony Tubbs.
Well, Tony Tubbs is the winner of the fight, but we probably could have made that statement about a half hour ago. I suppose what it all really proves is that you can, in fact, drive a tack with a sledgehammer.
The fighter Tony Tubbs